Today on the Comicstorian channel, we're going to be diving into more of Ben Reilly's Spider-Man. You see, New York has a new protector over the last several weeks, and his name is Ben Reilly, a clone of Peter Parker that has been in the background as the Scarlet Spider for years. After a run-in with the UFOs, Manhattan's original Spider-Man, Peter Parker, has been poisoned and he's fallen into a deep coma. With the Beyond Corporation's vast resources and technology, Ben Reilly managed to walk away from the attack, leaving him as New York's only Spider-Man. Legally, that is. This is the Comicstorian channel where I take some of your favorite trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand what is going on in the world of comic books. Are you a fan of the movies and you want to know where all of those stories begin? That's why we exist, to give you a synopsis of the storyline so that you can then go out and buy these issues yourself to get more context, or just buy the next issues and keep going with the storyline. We make alterations to the panels, text, and images to prevent copyright problems, and all of the art is owned by its respective companies. Now, as I said, Ben Reilly has taken over as Spider-Man, and we just covered the fight against Morbius, but now it's time for him to battle a new of the original Spider-Man's villains, in Amazing Spider-Man number 79, 80, and 80 Point Beyond. As Ben's suit is scanned inside of Beyond's lab, he shouts in pain, asking what kind of a firmware update are they doing to him, because he doesn't really think that it should be shocking him. The doctor tells him that after the Morbius incident, some upgrades were to be expected. So once done, Ben scoffs that they could have done the update in his sleep, would have been a lot less painful. If they've forgotten, he's a bit of a genius. Marcus informs him that in case he's forgotten, Beyond and its board members have invested a considerable amount of money into him. So when Spider-Man is out there, he is representing Beyond's interests in the best possible light. Ben suits up, telling him that they chose the other guy because he is too damned bullheaded and strong-willed. His job isn't to help Beyond look good, it's to help the people. Marcus tells him, actually, Ben, it's both. And don't go too far. Your patrol starts in half an hour. After leaving the Beyond Corporation and making a stop to check in on Peter Parker, Ben Reilly is called away when he overhears on the news that there's a bank robbery happening and a high-speed chase is currently in progress. As to not draw too much attention to the situation, he steps out stating, get better, buddy. Consider that wish officially made, as he webs out of the window. A few short swings later into downtown, Ben finds the speeding armored truck webbing up the people inside, slowing them down. But seeing that the truck is now continuing to barrel down the road towards a group of people, Ben Webb launches himself forward, grabbing the child, who wasn't quite fast enough to get out of the way, and safely moves them out of the way of the destruction. Ben tells the kid, hey, nice to meet you. Pretty scary, huh? Bright side, you can all tell your friends that you met Spider-Man today. Marcus radios in that he did an incredible job saving everyone, but they've got another job for him. Beyond board member Andrew Ayers pinged security about a possible break-in. Doors to his penthouse are in lockdown mode, and you're the closest there is to it. So Ben hurries over, opening up the door through the balcony, calling out to Andrew when he hears a faint, struggling voice calling out for help. Ben yells, don't worry, I'll be there in a second. Stay calm, and we'll have this taken care of in no time. But as he opens up the door to where he thought he heard the voice, he finds Andrew passed out on the floor with a tranq dart in his neck. Before Ben could even guess who was actually calling for him, his spider sense begins to go crazy, and the entire apartment explodes. When he comes to, he looks up to see Kraven the Hunter standing over him as he shouts, this is too much! Ben gets up swinging and misses, and Kraven punches him, telling him, I wish to bestow upon you a gift, the offering of my greatest hunt of cleansing. Kraven lunges at him. I heard the Spider-Man was now coming under the heel of corporate masters. Figured it would be the perfect bait to lure the great spider out. You really think of me as great? Really? But Kraven punches into him, telling him, you have great spirits. You make light of such heavy work. It is something that I greatly admire. Quickly running out of options to fight back in his dazed state, Ben runs towards the window, jumping out, but within seconds, he's riddled with tranq darts. He lands onto the building hard. I should have knew there was a trap waiting. Already beginning to feel lightheaded. Not from blood loss. There's something else going on. He looks at his hands as they begin to bend and move like they're underwater. I need to focus! 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 And then with a thundering voice, Kraven calls out, you must rejoice! With a flaming tiger head and now wings, Kraven tells him, your great awakening is about to begin. Ben's suit tries to filter out the toxins that Kraven is pumping into him, but with so much in him, the suit and his spider senses are in overdrive. He tries to get up and swing away, but he ends up stumbling off of the building and onto another one. He looks around to try and find another way down, but then he feels his feet sinking into the building. He begins to crawl out, telling himself, "Come on, Peter! Wait, Ben! I'm Spider-Man!" As he gets out, he sees himself, or at least a hollowed out version of himself. He sees that he's not Spider-Man, he's not even a man, he is a shell, a blank canvas, a rough sketch of a greater man. He gets back up and begins to move again, stating that he needs to find somewhere to rest. But then, he passes out, falling off of the ledge of the building. Meanwhile, back at Beyond, Marcus shouts asking, "Can somebody get eyes on Ben, please? We can't keep this away from Maxine for very long, and if we don't find him, we're all gonna wish that we're the ones who disappeared." But then Janine calls, and before Marcus can even speak, she tells him to tell her what is going on. 1 minute her apartment is swarming with Spider IT guys, and then the next they're all rushing out stating code blue. So help her. If he doesn't tell her what is happening, she will drop kick him so hard in the chest, she swears to God she'll do it. Marcus says, "Look, there's a situation unfolding, but we're handling it. As soon as I know more, I'll let you know." And he hangs up on her, asking one of the researchers if there's any update, but his phone rings again. He answers it, telling Janine that he assures her he will get back to her when he can, but right now he has more pressing matters to attend to. Maxine tells him, good to know. If she was Janine, that would be most unfortunate. Luckily, she has some questions, and they are answered. Back with Ben, he slowly begins to wake up, groggy from the high dose of tranquilizer running through his system when he hears a voice. He looks over to see a talking turtle, vulture, and maybe a horse. The turtle says that his name is Doug, and the others state that their name is Adaub and Basir. They were captured a few days ago. But as Ben gets closer, they revert back to their original selves as Beyond employees, and Doug says that he doesn't look too good. They're from the pharmaceutical division, and they've been working on a cure-all for migraines and head colds, and they were using it for hangovers, but same ballpark. Ben takes the pill, stating that he's putting a lot of trust into a talking turtle, but he doesn't have much choice. Ben then steps out onto what appears to him as an oil rig, stating that he's feeling like they're not in Manhattan anymore. And Kraven attacks, narrowly missing, stating, "Please tell me the flames spoke truth to you. The corporation is using you as a dog." The two struggle, and Ben yells, "Beyond has its issues, but what gig doesn't? At least they don't want to kill people." As Ben falls over, he pulls Kraven with him, and he manages to spin Kraven around, slamming him into the ground, but Kraven gets back up. "This is the belly of technological perversion. We both shall be remade whole. Here, I will awaken the great animal within." Ben laughs, telling him that he did awaken some old nightmares, but thanks to Doug, who may or may not be a giant talking turtle, I'm back to my old self. In a lot of pain, sure, but at least I can see the research plant we're in. Kraven lunges with a knife, asking, "Who holds your leash?" And Ben jumps over, kicking him, telling him, "I'm my own spider. And if all it takes to break your great warrior spirit is a cup of algae and a cell phone, maybe you're not the great hunter that you thought you were." Kraven falls into the algae pit, pulling out a small device. "I will not be tamed. I will remain unbroken." Ben yells for him to wait, but as Kraven presses the button, he blows himself up. Later, back at Beyond, Marcus says, "Yes, Miss Danger, he's being looked into. He's also being given a week off." Maxine tells him that this is a curious disciplinary action. Usually when a dog misbehaves, you tighten the leash. Beyond might have invested a lot of resources into this project, but if they need a hard reboot, they will certainly do it, and she will be in touch. As Maxine hangs up, she says that she's sorry. She doesn't like handling other departments' business in front of others, but this was a particularly interesting situation. The lawyer tells her that they understand. Picking up where they left off, this is a cease and desist. We will make sure that this Brooklyn Spider-Man is taken care of before he can even think of becoming an issue for Beyond. And if you're wondering who the Brooklyn Spider-Man is, of course that's Miles Morales. So next up, we're going to have Ben Reilly versus Miles Morales. But now we're going to go into 80 Point Beyond. It's a spin-off issue that tells you a little bit more of the other things happening now that Ben Reilly has taken over. The first couple of issues of this were telling us more about the Beyond Corporation and the other people that they've hired. This particular issue is going to be about Aunt May and Otto Octavius. Let's get into it. Day and night, Aunt May sat beside Peter's bed while doctor after doctor came in and told her that they don't know how to help bring Peter out of his coma. Finally getting fed up with no answer, she kisses him on the forehead, telling him that she is sorry for doing this and hopes that he understands. But she is backed into a corner, and she's going to be taking things into her own hands and getting help from an old friend. So later that night, Dr. Otto Octavius kisses May's hand, stating, "You humble me with your beauty." She tells him that it's good to see that he still has his gentleman's air about him, but enough of the flattery, they have work to do. The two go back to ESU where Peter was attacked, and they begin to look for clues. Octavius scans the area, stating that they must collect samples to see if there's anything that could help her nephew. And after picking up a few, Octavius brings May to one of his many safe houses for further testing. What they found were faint traces of a rare air pollutant found only in the industrial district, as well as radiation. One suited up as Doc Ock, Octavius follows the traces to an apartment building that obviously is a front for a criminal organization. May tells him that it looks just like a normal apartment building to her. Perhaps they should try a lighter touch before just bursting in. She rings the buzzer and the landlord says who's there, and May tells him, actually, she was wondering if she could trouble him to possibly look at some of their rooms. The landlord lets them in, stating that there were 4 weirdos who previously rented this room, and it looked like they ran into some trouble with the law. One of them was named Simon. Octavius tells her, of course, radiation, poison gas, Simon. It must have been the UFOs. Where did the police? The landlord stops him, telling him that it wasn't any police that came. It was something called Infinite Solutions. Took the UFOs and cleaned up the place. Except that his cousin crashed here and trashed the place shortly after. May takes a scanner and says that she may have found something, and Octavius looks over, telling her, yes, the discoloration is most likely some byproduct of X-rays radiation. However, we would need a larger quantity to try and replicate anything in the lab. As the two leave, May asks, what is Infinite Solutions? Octavius looks online, stating that it would seem that they are charged with holding superpowered individuals awaiting trial or transfer them to prison. But only a fool would think that. So after getting the address, May walks into Infinite Solutions, and the security guard asks if there's anything that he can help her with. She says hello. They were hoping that they would be able to speak with her grandson. The folks at the jailhouse told them that he was taken here. The guard tells her that there are no unscheduled visitations. If they wish to see her grandson, they'll need to make an online appointment. May stops him. Surely there could be someone back there that we could speak with, but the guard taps on the no unscheduled visitor sign, and the two have to leave. Outside, Octavius says that they went with her lead, now it is time to take his lead, and he grabs May with one of his metal arms and begins to scale the building. As they get in, she looks around, stating that this place is pretty intense for a rehabilitation center. Not loving the idea what they might find deeper inside, and Octavius tells her that they have to be efficient. The both of them must be prepared to get their hands dirty. The scanner is showing that they have samples nearby that they're going to need. One to the west, one to the north. At that moment, armed guards walk by and Octavius follows them to see a bunch of prisoners, including X-Ray, working out. But before they could do anything, another guard spots them. Octavius quickly dispatches of him as he begins to fire. The alarms begin to blare all around them, so Octavius tells May to take the guard's keycard and go to Vapor's cell and collect her sample. They'll meet in the security room later. She runs off yelling, "Please be careful! I want to thank you properly after we get out of here." Octavius climbs down into the rec room, and X-Ray cracks his knuckles, telling the guard that he can easily handle this if they turn off his dampeners. The guard stares. "Don't make me regret this." And as the dampener is powered down, X-Ray unleashes a cosmic blast, tearing through the room. Octavius slams him into the wall, telling him, "I have come to collect something of actual value." The two begin to go back and forth, exchanging blows, but Octavius grabs X-Ray, throwing him into the air, letting him come crashing down. After picking him up one more time, Octavius begins to shoot X-Ray with his lasers until he passes out and extracts the sample that he needs. At that moment, the guards surround him, telling him to freeze, and Octavius tells them, "You seem to have mistaken me for one of the inexperienced here. Let me do the honor of correcting that error." Meanwhile, over in the holding cells, May sees Vapor and says that she hates to bother. But does she have a moment? Vapor gets out of her bed, stating that she is a long way from the bingo hall, Grandma. And May says that they usually close up around 7. She's just an old bat with enough energy to still hang out past sundown. Vapor laughs. "I like you, but you must need something to get this deep past security." May holds up a photo of Peter, stating that this is her nephew. He drives her crazy, but she loves him dearly. He was a student, and a couple of weeks back, he got roughed up pretty bad by her and her friends when they fought Spider-Man. Vapor says that she's sorry, but she's a bad guy. Sort of comes with the job. May tells her that she isn't a bad person. She just makes mistakes. She also knows people can get caught in the crossfire sometimes. And Peter, he's one of them. She just wants to help him. The doctors don't know what to do. All she needs is a sample. As May opens the cell, Vapor says, well, I don't have anything better to do. Sure, Grandma. Just don't go telling people that the UFOs went and gone soft is all. After getting the sample, May says that she'll tell everyone that it was one hell of a fight. Later in the security offices, Octavius grabs the guards shouting, "You're all worms! This is all a sham! What other secrets do you hide? What masters pull your strings? Tell me!" He begins to look through the computer, realizing that it's a trail of one shell company to another to... no. He turns back to the warden asking, "Do you know what was stolen from me? Do you know why you're about to be skinned alive?" But May steps in, stating, "That was not a part of this plan. Let these men go, Otto." Octavius clears his throat. "Forgive me, but I told you once before. This is the man I've always been. My nature. I was doing what I must to help you." She slams the sample into Octavius, stating that he stopped helping her the moment he found something on that computer. She was a fool to think that he could change, and she's an even bigger fool for not knowing that from the start. This is goodbye, and we won't be seeing each other again. The next night, May sits at home trying to figure out what to do next when she receives a call from the hospital. The doctors inform her that there's been a breakthrough. Some anonymous delivery was made containing, well, a comprehensive cache of data detailing the compounds involved in Peter's illness. She rushes to the hospital and opens up Peter's door, standing in shock because Peter is sitting up on his bed in near perfect health, asking, "Did you happen to get the number of the bus that hit me, May?" But later that night, the Beyond guards begin to call in for backup as they're quickly taken out. Octavius grabs one and the man says, "Please, just take the access card. It'll let you into all the systems. Don't hurt me." Octavius takes the card, telling him, "Seems you've learned the value of self-preservation. Good dog." He begins to look through the terminal. No, Spider-Man and Parker could not have been that stupid. They allowed Beyond to purchase the remains of Parker Industries, the company that I built. Their Spider-Man isn't superior. He is a copy of all of the work that I did. Otto Octavius does not stand for plagiarism. I will remind them, while I will always remain superior. There you have it, the spin-off issue in which we discover the suit that Ben Reilly is using is a variation of Superior Spider-Man, and Otto Octavius isn't very happy about that. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash that like button if you enjoyed what we did here today. If you didn't enjoy it, thank you for sticking to the end of the video, and I hope I'll see you eventually. But we'd love for you to join the Comicstorian family here, and just go ahead and hit that notification bell so you know when we make more videos. We cover comic books by letting you know what's happening in the storylines like this video, or just giving you a rundown, making you a comic book expert. Anyway, once again, thanks for sticking out through the video. I'll see you guys next time right here at Comicstorian.